Hey, welcome back, guys. All right, so one of the things that I realized is when I was crawling underneath the car after it had been running for a while, the last time, was my transmission was leaking in different areas. So I went and bought, I don't know if it's a rebuild kit because it's not really a rebuild kit, but it's got some seals, gaskets for your shift mechanism, your actuator, and I got a new transmission pan because the one that's on there, there was leaks coming down, so I don't know yet where the leaks are coming from. It could come in from the actuator hitting the pan and dripping down, and I'll show you in a bit, or it could be the pan itself needing to be, the gasket's bad, sealed, maybe I torqued it too much or somebody torqued it too much and it's got a leak. However, the pan itself is rusty, and so instead of messing with rust, I went and bought this. And so this pan, I haven't even opened it. I haven't even opened this yet. So this is the first time I'll be looking at it too, because it just came today. So there's a rubber gasket. There's some new bolts. And the pan is this. And it comes with, well, a drain plug, which is awesome. Yep, there it is right there. The drain plug is in there as well. So, it comes with a drain plug. So I'm looking forward to, and this one you're not going to be able to distort when you tighten down, because the other one is like a little flimsy sheet metal stuff, and this is more like cast aluminum, I'd imagine, but a lot harder, and it will hopefully take care of some of my leaks. But like I said, the transmission in itself wasn't leaking from where I thought it would be leaking initially, which was the rear seal for the tail shaft. And I had bought one to replace it, but it never leaked there. It leaks and just kind of seeps. And so I'm going to crawl under there, and I'll bring you down there and kind of show you what I'm looking at. And then we'll replace seals one by one. And the transmission doesn't have to come out. At least I don't think it has to come out for what I'm trying to do. But I'm not pulling it out. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And so the transmission itself, just for like a little background on it, I had it rebuilt 35 years ago. Let's just say late 80s, early 90s. I had it built, rebuilt, and by a pretty reputable company, but it's been sitting in the garage for that length of time. So of course the seals probably dried, or just time in the atmosphere gets to it, but it was in a garage. So I feel like the inside of the transmission is fine. I never had an issue with it driving it, and I probably got about 500 miles on it or so, maybe a little bit more, 1,000 miles. Never had an issue on it. So what I'm planning on doing is putting them on. Now, you'll see that the tires are on, and I've got this fender kind of mocked up a little bit just to see how the gaps are and stuff. Well, it's not tied down yet, but and I wanted to see where the wheels would fit, and because the jack stands themselves are on the axle, so as you see it sit is how it would be sitting on the ground, and I'm fine with that. That's a fine sit with me. Gives you a little bit of room for going up and down, hitting bumps and things of that nature. And those wheels are 15 8.5 or the actual wheel, and then the tires are 275 60 15s, which are I believe a 28-inch tire. So it's got a little bit of meat to it. Those are old tires too, so I bought those tires, and well, we looked up the date code on it, me and my buddy. And because it's in the 80s, it's a different, you kind of go off a different thing, but it basically said that tire, one of those tires was built in December of '88, and I think I bought them in '89. Here's an interesting thing too. Is looking at the front tire, it looked fine. Back on the outside looked fine. I didn't look at the inside too much, but I brought it to a tire store to see if I could have that tire and that tire, because this is a 225 and that's a 275. I wanted them swapped just so that my directionals are heading the same direction for my OCD-ness on that piece. I didn't pay attention to it when I was young when I bought them, but they mounted them backwards or mounted them wrong. So as you see this tire and how it lays down, and I say lay down, I'm talking about these directional things as it goes, and it lays down and it's not biting. But you look on this side, it's biting when it goes forward, and I don't want it. Well, I want everything to lay down. I don't want to bite, and then it's backwards. Well, so this one's good, but this one is bad, or not bad, but optional, or it's backwards too, so it's going to bite. So that bites, that bites. Flop those wheels around, it will all be matching. However, when I brought it to the tire store and they looked at the date code, they were kind of blown away at how old the tires were. And then they were like skeptical and said, hey, you know what? I don't think we can assume the liability. And I'm sure there's some place out there that will swap them around, and I'll get to it. But for right now, I'm putting these tires on it until I figure out what I'm going to do with my wheels. I mean, those wheels are, I don't say new, but they're great shape. And maybe I paint them a different color, like a matte black or something, or I don't know. But I don't want to rush into getting the wheel until I figure out what exactly I want. But I like the stance it is. I like this wheel size, the 28-inch tire, 15-inch. That look kind of fits this error. This gap right here is not the true gap. However, it will be higher than what I want. But it's not the true gap because my jack stands are sitting on the frame and not on the suspensions. So my front wheels are just kind of hanging down. So before I come up with what I'm going to do with my front suspension, I'm going to have to put actual weight on those front tires and compress that suspension, and have a fender well there. So I've got one on this side, have a fender well, so when it comes up, then I can say, okay, this is too high, too low, or what have you. But for this video, we're going to be working on my transmission and trying to get this new one put on without getting a transmission bath, and hopefully change some seals and get rid of some of these leaks on the transmission that's appeared when I started the engine. All right, guys, let me crawl under there and start waiting to work later on. All right, guys, so I've been working underneath, and I started to drain the pan, and here is a little hole in the front. And how I did it was I put this drill bit, I put a rag around it, like put a little hole in it right there, like this, shielded my drill from any transmission fluid, and just barely cut through the pan. Be advised, if you're going to try to do this, the valve body's right behind there and you don't know what you're going to hit, and I did take that chance, but I was ever so gentle when I broke through the pan not to go busting through and shoving it up into the valve body or anything else. If you're asking why it's on this side and not any other side, it's because I did put a bubble level on here to try to figure out where exactly I'm gonna get the best bang for the buck, and it's pretty level, but all indications came to passenger front being the lower of it all. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit here and let it drain itself so I don't have to make a mess. So that's great. One other thing I realized when I got down here is, if you see right here, that's probably why I don't have that shield on here, because I must have broke this thing or whatever. I tried drilling it out, and then when I got it drilled out, I put an extractor on it, But if you can look at the extractor, I snapped that thing off in there. So I'm gonna probably have to drill it out with a bigger drill bit. But I'll do that after I do the pan. One of the things too is the accumulator. You can see the accumulator back here. I was talking about changing gaskets and all these things, and that would be great, except for my exhaust is in the way of everything. So it would have been better to do it prior to putting the exhaust on, and then I'll have to drop all the exhaust to get to that accumulator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do process of elimination. I'm going to change this gasket, replace the pan, and then if it's still leaking, then I will have to drop the exhaust. But I'm just going to go with the pan. You can see how rusty that pan was down there. It's pretty rusty. And it is, like I mentioned, it is like a flimsy, like the old school oil pans. If you torque it down too much, what you'll do is you'll create a dimple, and that's just an access for the oil to get out. So you got to be really careful with those pans not to over tighten them. Sometimes you'll have bars. They'll have like metal bars that go along the edges, and that helps distribute the pressure of each bolt. This one I don't believe has it. Let me run down here and just see first. Yeah, I don't see it, but sometimes there'll be a bar, and I know it's on engines, probably more so, but that helps distribute. But if you tighten this down, you're essentially just creating a buckle in the metal, and this is just a rusty old tin box now. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up, draining it, and then we'll clean things up before I put the new pan on. All right, guys, let me get back to work. All right, I got the pan off. There's a little bit of material there, very little. I don't know if it's clutch material or part of that gasket. That's the cork gasket that was on it. And here's what underneath of the transmission is looking like. It's very clean. Like I said, I had this rebuilt. So basically I'm just going to well, actually tomorrow I believe is when my gaskets come in, and with the gaskets are a new filter. And since I've got it dropped down, I might as well replace the filter, clean up the edges, and then I can mount the new one on there. But overall, the actual transmission valve body looks really, 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 really clean. There's the dipstick. You can see the dipstick poking through right here. But yeah, guys, I'm really hoping that this is what's leaking. I don't know, these cork gaskets maybe over time just start to leak. I'm hoping that's what it is, because if not, then I'm going to end up doing this again. Yeah, that looks like clutch material. And I'll tell you, I used to do, in the short time that I had this in drive, I'd punch it and then just ratchet it down into second or first gear, and it would drop a gear. So I wasn't, for its 500 to 1,000 miles, whatever I've got on this, I wasn't kind to it. But never had a problem with it. Just gonna wait till the filter comes in. I'll clean that up in the meantime, and then we can go ahead and put this on. All right, guys. All right, I got the gasket set in. So a rubber gasket came with the pan, and then this gasket set came with a cork gasket. Tend to want to think that the rubber is the way to go. I hope I'm not wrong, but cork's been around for the beginning of time, and it's worked. So I'm probably gonna go with the rubber gasket. Let's just hope it doesn't leak. First I gotta remove this filter, and that's the wrong way. remove the filter, and then put the new one in. Now this old one is this old filter is probably fine. It's raining, and the tree leaves are falling. I use my lawn tractor to mow over those trees, kind of our leaves, and mulch them down. I've probably done it 6 times so far, and I still, when I look at the 2 trees, still look like I got a buttload of leaves left. But anyway, I took off the filter, and it was probably a good idea, because if you look at it, let me get this out of the way, you can see some stuff, clutch material maybe, on the fringe edges of that. Let me see if I can get the light to shine on that. Put it on the magnet. But right here, you can see, come on now, give me some light, baby. There we go. You can see, I don't know what it is. It's like dog hair or something, but I know it's not. It's something. But anyway, you got the pan off. You might as well just replace the filter. So I've got a new filter right here that I'm going to put on. I'll wipe things down a little bit, and then start to button it up for the pan piece. I have another light for underneath there, but unbeknownst to me, I must have left it on and it burned up and it fell apart. So you can see this part right here where I got to take it apart. It fell into it, so it got real hot, and then the light, the porcelain piece of it disintegrated, so the light doesn't even work. So I got to replace that again. But all right, let me see if I can struggle a little bit down here. I'm gonna see if I can just put this down here. Come on now, get up there. Focus up. Can you see me? Can you see my hand? All right. Now where's my... There we go. Oh, just shined myself in the eye with that dang thing. And I'm seeing spots. I thought there was supposed to be a gasket, but apparently not. And it really don't matter, I suppose. But, so let me just wipe this down right here. And then, so these bolts don't need to be tightened too terribly tight. I think, which way did it go? I'm still seeing spots. Still seeing spots. All right, come on now. I think this is the way it goes, like that. So I'll start this guy right here. Yeah, that rain is coming down now out there. It could be worse. It could be snow, I suppose. We are into November. There we go. What? What? All right, where's my ratchet? Flip it over like this. Just till it about strips, and then you back it off a quarter turn. There we go. Kidding. All right, so that's on. And I've got the pan. Only thing is, I'm not really sure is if I should put. See this? I always hate gaskets because you don't do it just right. They're prone to leaking. So this rubber gasket putting a little faith in technology, although I probably shouldn't. And I got to get it lined up to where, and they gave me bolts. They're actually Allen bolts. So now I got to go find an Allen socket, because they couldn't just keep it the way it was. I didn't put my external mic on, so hopefully you're hearing me all right. Kind of forgot about it. So let me move this out of the way just in case my bolts fall. I don't want, all right, where am I at? Where's the, yep, I'm lined up pretty good. Just gotta make sure that the, all right, here we go. I gotta get this out of the way because, well, I don't want transmission fluid in my hair. I don't have hair, so save it, guys. I know I don't have hair. I want it in my head. Oh, I've got my friends out there. They're gonna let me know I don't have hair. I've got hair. It's just on my back. It's on my. It's everywhere where it's not supposed to be. Actually, that rubber kind of holds the bolt in place. But I don't. What I don't want it to do is to slip down in there, and then it's not sealed up all the way around. So, all right. I got two. This is going to actually work out all right. These let me just dump it all out. Dump it out so I can get to it. I need to get like 2 or 3 of them. Maybe 4. Then I'll be, yeah, there we go. Yeah, this rubber gasket's actually holding the bolts in, which will make it nice. I can pin them on all 4 corners, and they won't, well, I hope they won't. All right, let me get a Allen socket. Well, so much for an Allen socket. What I got was an Allen wrench. All right, so just to make sure nothing's gonna get kind of wonky, gotta go pretty straight up. And then, let me see where we're at. Where am I at? Oh, I gotta come at an angle. There we go. Okay. Okay. Let's get, oh, do we got one? Do we have success on one? I think I do. I think I do. Now, if I get success on 2. Oh, I think I do. Oh my goodness. Can I get success on 3? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And success on 4. Uh-oh. Come on. Don't be going in sideways on me. That one's not going in as easy, but come on now. What we got going on here? Did the rubber get caught up in it? Well, here's what I want to do. I want to put another one in next to it. See if it can go in any easier. I tell you, this trying to put all the, there we go, maybe that'll work a little bit better. Where are we at? Where are we at? This one's working, but it's just tighter than it. Oh. Put one there. This would be bad if it leaks worse than it did. But I mean, it was leaking, and I didn't even have it running that long, so I think this rubber gasket's kind of getting all in the way. And I should have probably put all the bolts in. Probably might have made it easier. There. Oh, I got a bracket here. I can't forget that. That won't be good. That won't be good. Can't forget my bracket. There we go. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. It's always something. See, the thing with this bracket is it doesn't allow the bolt to come in straight because it's like it needs to be ground down or something. Let me see what I got going here. Yep, get some light on the situation. It's this little ledge right here is not allowing it to go close enough to where I can get my bolt hole lined up, which, yeah, it's not doing it. I can see it right here. That thing needs to be modified. Well, I'll be dipped. I stole that one from old Vice Grip Garage. I was watching him this morning. He uses that I'll be dipped. And I've never used it before, but I think, what the heck's going on here? All right, so what I'm gonna do, take this piece off. I'm gonna have to grind down this edge here so it can go closer to the pan, which will allow my bolt holes to line up. All right, guys, I took that bracket out. I ground down the edges, and of course, since I had it out, I figured I'd throw some, sand it down and throw some paint on it. So there's paint on it right now that it's drying. Just didn't feel like putting it back in, all boogered up once I had it out and was grinding on it anyway. But I had to grind, like I was saying, I had to grind that leading edge. Well, I don't know what's the best way to see it. I had to grind this leading edge because these bolt holes were pushing up against the pan, the depth of the pan, and so it didn't give me enough room to put the bolt in, keeping it cockeyed. But I'm gonna let that dry, and once that's dry, then I'll resume and go back under there and continue with the pan. All right, guys. Hey guys, I through the miracle and editing of, well, just not turning the camera on, got the pan in, got the new painted bracket all replaced. I cleaned up this. I actually took off this piece right here, and I know that's a reducer. Basically, it's a speed match, so whatever your rear end of your tires are, it will help correct your speedometer. But it was so heavy and it was weighing on that, and even though I replaced the O-ring and everything in here, it was still kind of dripping. And my thought is maybe from the weight it was kind of pulling it down and kind of canting it, so I took it off. I plan on changing the rear end gears anyway, so it's gonna have, that wouldn't work anyway, so I'd have to have another speedo healer or change the gear on the inside. But anyway, everything is lined up, bolted up. I haven't put fluid in it yet. I'll do that a little later, but let me get this light off. So from the last time you may have seen it, I've got fenders bolted up to it on both sides, and I moved the door forward a little bit so it gave me a little bit more of a gap in the back because the back gap wasn't big enough for me. So one of the things is I didn't even want to put these tires and wheels on it because these were the tires and wheels I had on it, but I like the stance of that wheel and tire back there. It's going to get new tires, but in the meantime I was just wanting to swap those tires around so all my wheels were kind of laying down on the same direction. But having them on there, I like that size tire on the back. So it's sitting on its suspension right now, and that's the gap I've got, but I like that size tire. 28-inch wheel. That one I think is like, I'd have to look at it, 27.4, no, maybe a little bit more. But I do want to put a little bit wider tire on the front. So what I'm thinking about doing is eventually getting new tires, but I want to get the same tire for the back, 275 60/15s, 28-inch wheel, and then I'll get like a 255 60/15. It's a little bit shorter than that one, but a little bit wider. So I think I will be okay. Because it's an 8.5-inch wheel, or the wheel is, and you can see the tread stops here. So I'll have to do a lock to lock and just see lock to lock just to see how much room I have. But if I have enough room, I want to put like a 255 up front, or at least a 245. A 225 is kind of, I don't know. Yeah, that's it. I just don't know. But all right, guys, that's where I'm at right now with it all. Everything is, I haven't put fluid in it, so I'm going to put fluid in it. It's been raining. It's going to rain for the next few days. The tree leaves have been falling. And the reason I'm telling you that is because I want to get this to the point where I start it up and I'll put transmission fluid in it and then drive it on out of the garage. And if you've been outside and seen, I'm sitting underneath a big maple tree, and it's losing its leaves, so I don't want all the leaves and everything crap coming on it. So I want to pull that thing out and then clean down around all of this area before winter actually starts coming in, and then clean up this cardboard, get rid of it. It's done its due diligence over the past year. That cardboard there has been there for a year now, but look at it. It's caught everything. It's caught oil, paint. It's caught everything, and that's the intent of it. But this surface is awesome because let me show you something, and I think it might be able to get worked out a little bit. But so you remember I had a fire, maybe you don't remember, but I had a fire under here because I had a old pan that was catching transmission fluid that was leaking, ironically enough, and I was welding on the floorboard and it dripped down in here. So it melted the pan. This is a new one. It melted the pan, and then it caught this on fire that was sitting on, and then if you look at, I just peeled this back and looked at it at the first time, it's discolored, but it did not melt the floor. So I'm thinking, it's discolored, but once I get all this out and clean this up, I might be able to buff out some of this discoloration. But even if it doesn't, it's smooth. I can feel it. It's just been heat scorched. So I think I might have gotten really lucky, because up until just now, working on this transmission, I really didn't look at it, and I was just assuming I was going to have a big hole in my flooring. But I don't have a hole in my flooring. It's just discoloration, and it's smooth, so it's not even rippled up. So I think I got really lucky there. But yeah, and I'm going to hold off. That's the transmission cover. I still need to get that one bolt out so I can bolt it up there for the torque converter cover. But yeah, I think I got real lucky with that floor, and getting kind of a little excited, even though it's not going anywhere. It's just kind of looking like a car. Let me show you something else too while I got you here. So I did this fender last winter. This driver's fender, it was totally rusted behind the wheel well. I put a new patch panel in, but I put the patch panel in while it was sitting on this and not on the car. And by doing that, I tried to get as close as I can, forming and shaping based off the other fender, and I did, except that there was a little bit of a gap. So it was sticking out down here, and I wasn't comfortable with it. So what I did is I took this fender, brought it outside, sliced it down here, and then I sliced it right here. So now I can push it in, re-tack weld it, and it will be flush with the door the way it's supposed to be, because the rest of this door is flush. It just, when it came down to here, before I sliced it, it popped out probably a good 1/16 to 1/4 of an inch, and you couldn't adjust it in. So basically I took the grinding wheel, sliced it, and I'm going to tack weld it, push it in, tack weld it, and then I'll redo that lower piece. So but this is why I'm doing it. I'm putting it on and doing the fitment pieces of it just to find out where I'm flawed and where I'm not. But everything else right now is doing all right. Doing all right. So, all right, guys, that's enough for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see what we're doing next. I'm always doing something little. I just don't really record it a lot. But all right, guys, thank you.